let's get to digging again. Totally right there with you.
This was a super fun build that I got to make on Fraggle Rock. My boss came up to me and he said, Pete, we want you to make this helmet and make it out of a coconut, but we want it to look like an old school looking mining helmet. I grabbed a coconut and I tried to figure out what I was going to make the brim out of. I decided I was going to make it out of some really thin plywood, and I cut it into segments. I glued it together as a brim shape with some super glue, and then I had to add the texture to match the coconut. So I dragged a Dremel along it, and then I color matched as best as I could. Then next I had to make the reflector. So the reflector was another piece of another coconut. And I added some tinfoil on the back and a glow grape, which is just a ball with an LED in it. I also added a piece of bamboo onto the light to make it look kind of more like a directional spotlight. And here are the goggles. I made them out of a couple pieces of bamboo, trying to make it look like some kind of safety goggles. So this was his final look. Terry made the gloves, and they actually decided not to have him wear the goggles, which is okay because I think we use them for something else later. Somewhere along the way, the gag changed. They were all going to be wearing these helmets. And now suddenly I had to make like 20 coconut helmets, but we didn't have 20 coconuts. So Scott decided to 3D print some coconuts, and we were going to do a test to see if I could match a coconut to make it look the same on camera as a real coconut. So this is a picture of the coconuts, and the one in the middle here, this one is actually 3D printed, and this was my first test of doing the color match. Scott 3D scanned that coconut, and he also 3D scanned the Wembley helmet because he liked the brim on it. He printed a whole bunch of them. And sometimes when you're 3D printing, things go wrong. So 2 of them actually did not print with the tops of the helmets. I painted all of them, and I kind of did just basically like a big assembly line where I did all one color, all another color, all another color. And there were some dry brushing techniques involved. What I ended up doing was taking the top of another coconut that was too small to make a helmet out of, drilled some holes in it, and stitched it together to kind of make this interesting helmet design. The other one, I made the top of the coconut out of a piece of foam, scratched it with the Dremel like I did on the wood, and painted that one. And I ended up using some hemp rope, and I brushed it out, and I used that for the little fibers on top of the coconuts as well. And this one actually turned out to be my favorite design, which made me really happy because Gobo got to wear it, and Gobo's my favorite Fraggle. And so here's a look at some other ones that we did. I think this one was worn by Boober in the show. So in the final scene, most of the coconut helmets that are being worn aren't actually coconuts. They're 3D printed, which is pretty funny. My name's Pete, and I make movies, and when I'm not making my own movies, I work on other people's movies, and I like making cool stuff. I do special effects, I do prop building. So if that sounds interesting to you, give me a follow, like this video, and leave me a comment about something you want me to make a video about. If you have any questions, maybe you'd want me to make a video about my web series Slug Brothers. Yeah, let's do a video about that, huh?